Hello everyone, welcome to lab practice section for chapter 5. In this video tutorial, you are going to learn how to add images in your website as an image element, and then how to add background image, and then how to change the font and text characters of the web pages. Okay, so your last food and fitness, the last food and fitness website looks like this. We have just changed the background color and font color of the website. Now we are going to add some images to it, and also we are going to add the font character. We are going to enhance the look of the font. Okay, so let's get started. So before start coding, you have to collect the images. You can see that in each web pages I have some images, and also I have added logo image in the header, right? So you need images for that. There are multiple websites are there which can provide you the license free images. For example, this Pixpay or unsplash.com. So those kind of websites, you can just Google license free images, which you can just use it in your websites. Okay, so you can just get, instead of collecting it from Google image, I suggest you to go to license free images to use it in your web pages. Okay, so I have collected some license free images and I have put it together in the folder. Okay, in the folder where I'm going to work. So to do that, I suggest you to go to your lab practice and chapter, copy the folder, chapter 4 folder, and rename it as chapter 5. And then in this folder you have 3 files, 2 HTML files and 1 CSS file. So you have to pick all the images from the website based on your interest, or whatever fits to your website content, and you can just collect it and you can put it together like this. Okay, so that's the first step. Collect the images and put it here. So I have already collected the images from the website, so I'm just going to put it here for this recording. So you have to download it from the website. Okay, so now we have all the image files that is needed to work on. Okay, so now let's get started with adding the images to our web pages. So the first page that we are going to work on is the index.html page. So we are going to add you can just look at the website. So we are just adding the image here in the home page, below the navigation and before the H2 element. Okay, so now we're going to learn how to do this. So below the navigation and above the H2 or main element, so here we are going to keep our image. So we have learned the div tag, right? The div tag is the tag that that just cover a particular section, okay, which doesn't have any proper, it could be, the div tag could be anywhere, div or main or footer, whatever it is. A particular a separate division, a section can be structured by using div tag. So now we are going to use div tag for this purpose, where we are going to add image. So to add image, we have to use image star and the src attribute. Okay, and then here you have to give the name of the file. So here the name of the file is fitness.jpg. You can hover over the image where you will see the file extension. So the file name is fitness.html. Okay, and then we have to always, in the image tag, we have to specify the alternative text description. So it is the some yoga pose, right? The image is some yoga pose, so yoga pose. And then we have to say the height and width of the image. Okay, so which you want to display. Here I said that 300 pixel is the height and 600 pixel is the width. So based on your requirement, you can set some height and width. So I'm going to use 300 pixel as the height and 600 pixel as width. Save the file, okay, and then just refresh the page. Save the file and refresh the page. I'm so sorry. So it's not a HTML. Sorry. Okay. So you can see we have added this into this image. Now we have to add the next image here. You can look at the reference website. The next image is another image, fitness image. So we are going to add it the next page. So let's do that. So for that, go to the fitness.html page, open it in Atom. So just copy the div tag from the index.html because we are going to place it in the same position. So go to the same place, that is between navigation and main tag. Now the file name here is yoga.jpg. Okay, yoga.jpg. So save and then refresh the page here, where you can see the image has been added. So here we have used 300 pixels of width and 600 pixel of width and 300 pixel of height for the images, but you can just change it. You can just say 100%. We have learned other font sizes as well, right? 100%, and just see what is happening here. So it will just get extended to fit the whole viewport when you say 100%. When you say 80%, it will cover the 80% of the window. Okay, so just as of now, I'm just going to keep it as 600 pixel. Okay, so we have added the image to our website. Next we are going to work on the background color and also the font styles. So open your style.css in Atom. So this is what we have left in our last practice. We have added some background color, everything. Now we are going to add few more elements to this, the concepts what we learned in chapter 5. So first let's work on this the body font here. Okay, the body font is the default font. We're going to change the font style. So now I have referred and selected some font, sans serif font. So what is the syntax for that? Font family, okay, and then you have to use the font family property, and then sans serif is the family name. So sans serif is best for the web pages, and then we have to at least give two choices. So if Arial doesn't work in some browser, then Helvetica will be taken. Okay, so we have to give two choices. So I have given two choices for the browser. So the web page will be displayed mostly in Arial. Okay, so in some rare cases, if it is not supported by any PC or browser, then Helvetica will be taken. Okay, so save and refresh the page. You will not see anything because yeah, we have changed the font size of the body. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to add is a logo here. We are going to add some logo here. How can we do that? So what is the syntax for adding logo? Background image, right? And then URL, and then inside the URL you have to specify the file name. So here the file name is logo F. okay, .png. So I'm going to add that here. So logo f dot png. So make sure you're using the right file extension. And then what? We want to keep it in the left position. So let's try it. Let's just save this and then refresh the page, where you can see the image is getting repeated. That is because by default background image property has all repeat property. So we have to set it as no repeat. First we have to set it as no repeat, and also we have to set where it should get displayed. Okay, so we have to use the background position property for that. Okay, background position property. Where is background position property? So background position, we want to keep it in the left side of the header. Okay, so let's save this and refresh the page and see what is happening. Okay, now we want to use the background size contain property, which is going to display all the image. So background size, we can use contain. Cover and contain are the two values that we can use. Cover means the whole, you can use cover and see what is happening. If you use cover, then what will happen? The whole header, the image will be spanned to whole header. But we don't want that. We want to see the full image. So we are using contain. So you can see we have the contain, but it is not very clear. For that we are going to increase the line height of the header. Okay, so line height will increase the size of the structure, header or navigation, whatever it is. To increase the height, we have to use line height. So I'm going to use 500% of line height here, because I tried it and it worked well. So you can see I have increased the height and it works good. And then now the food and fitness, the text and this logo is kind of overlapping. So for that I am going to use text intent property, which will give some space, indentation. So I am going to use some, from the current value I am going to increase EM, 1 EM. So 1 EM doesn't work, so I am going to use 3 EM. Okay, so even 3 EM doesn't work, so I'm going to use 5 EM. Okay, now it works. Okay, now it looks good. So we are done with the background. This looks good, so we can move on to the next one. So we can do, we have done the header and we have so next what we are going to do, we are going to work on the nav element. Okay, so the nav element, we have already set some background color. Now let's change the fonts to bold. Okay, the font weight property will help us to change the font to bold, but we have already used the bold property in HTML, but this is another way we can do. By using CSS property, we can change the font to bold. Okay, that we can do. And also we don't want this navigation. By default, when we do the navigation, the underline will appear, right? We don't want that. It doesn't look good. So how can we remove it? Remember, the text decoration property will help us to do that. So none, text decoration none. If you say that, the underline will get removed. And it doesn't get removed, that is because we should not apply it on the nav element. We have to apply it on the selector nav A. All the A tags inside the nav. It is a descendant selector. Now you can see it got removed. And also this is very thin, so let's increase the line height of the navigation. Okay, so either you can use percentage like we have done in header, or you can use the EM unit. So I'm going to use 2.5 EM. EM means from the current size, how many times you want to increase. So you can see we have increased 2.5 EM. Now the navigation width is getting increased. Okay, so this looks good. And then what else we have to add? Okay, so we have changed the font of the body, but we didn't change the font of H1 and H2 and all. So let's change the H2 text decoration. So font family, instead of using sans serif, let's use serif for headings. Okay, so Georgia or Times New Roman with serif font family. Let's do it for the H1. You can see now it has the serif, that Georgia style. Okay, so let's do that same thing for H1. That is in the header we have the default font. Let's make it H1. Okay, so font family for the H1 is going to be the same style, Georgia style. So you can see we have changed the H1. Okay, so whatever you are doing here, if the H1 element is there in the second page, then it will be applicable everywhere, all the pages it will be applicable. Okay, so keep that in your mind. And what else we have to add? So we have added the body, H1, H2, navigation, everything is done. So let's change the font of footer area and the DT area here. The DT element is there in the second page, not in the first page. So we are just adding the font style to the footer area and the DT area. Okay, save and refresh the page, where you can see we have changed the font, and then DT area, that is in the second page, we have added the font style to that DT element. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to add some. So you can see the list style type is bulletin, so which is the default one. Let's change it to some other type. Okay, so we're going to add that. So anywhere here you can say the UL is going to have list style type, and we can select any of these values. I'm going to select square. Okay, save and refresh the page, where you can see the bulletin points has become squares. Now let's work on our footer area, where we want to bring this copyrights, this content to the center. So what property that we can use for that? We can use the text align property. Remember, text align, and then you can use different values. We want to bring it to center, so you have to say center, text align center. Save and refresh the page, where you can see it got to the center place. Okay, font size also we can just decrease the font size here. For that we can use font size property, and from the current size, and we're going to increase it a little bit, decrease the size a little bit, so that is 7.5%, 75%. Okay, so what are the few other elements that we have to work on? So we can see the food and fitness, wherever the food and fitness is, comes, we can just make it bold. So for that we can say wherever the food and fitness comes, we can just use the font weight bold. Okay, and then here the div tag, like address tag, the ID tag is kind of little bit bigger. We can just reduce the font size to little bit low, kind of 90% or 80%. So that we are going to do, we are going to reduce the font size from 100% to 90%. Refresh the page, you can see the font size got reduced a little bit. Okay, now we got it done. So you can see this is the look of our current website. Okay, we have added the font styles, and also we have added that some images, all those attributes. So after that, what I have done for the third page, so far you have only 2 pages, but for food I don't have any page. So to add the third page, what I have done is I'm just going to copy the whole page, foodness page or index page, whatever it is. I'm just going to copy it and change it to food.html. okay, food. So now you can see the food page has the same page, like, because we have just added the food fitness page as food page. So what you can do, you can just open the file, the food file, and then you can just change the images. Okay, and then you have to also change the content. So I have added some content here, so I'm just going to change the content. Okay, so you can see we have to replace the content here with the all food fit guidance is going to become food guidance. Okay, and then I have already collected written some content to display here. What I'm going to copy and paste, you can just replace some content here that gets along with the page title. So I'm just adding that as a DL element. Okay, save it and then refresh the page. Now you can see it has become food guidance. Okay, so then whatever you have applied in the style, all those things, whatever you have applied, that has gotten along with this newly added website. So you have created a new web page immediately without lot of difficulties. In few minutes, in 2 or 3 minutes, you have created your new page. Okay, that's the good thing about the CSS. You can simply add the content and then you can just modify it. So that's it about your lab practice. So what you have done, you have just changed this website to this website. Okay, so see you in the next topic.